What's up, people? This is Ty. Make sure that you support UKHH. That's the place. Make sure you come here. Get the real talk.
What's going on, people? UKHipHop.com, UKHH.com. Get it in your brain cells. We need you to remember this, because when you come to this site, anything that's going on in hip hop in the UK, this is where you can find out about it. Welcome to Straight to the Point Part 2. I promised you at the end of Part 1 that Part 2 would be with Ty. If I'm honest, it's before I even asked him, but we're down like that, you know what I mean? So I figured I could take a chance, but I managed to get him here. So Ty, welcome, man.
Thank you, bro.
Like, this is our opportunity, really, to have a conversation which is more than just about your latest record. Brilliant. More than just about the latest beat that you just made, or the latest tour you've been on, so that we can actually get into Ty. Now, just to give you some background, I started a debate on Facebook some months ago, just kind of talking about artists, radio, what people thought about, you know, the artists when they come to the radio station. And out of that conversation, really, a lot of people voiced their opinions. You know, you were a party to it. Lots of people commented and said that, you know, yeah, we do want to see the artists come on the radio, and yeah, we want to hear them rap and all the rest of it. But other people were like, yeah, well, we'd actually like to know a little bit more about the artists, more than just their latest release. And obviously, the time constraints on certain TV shows and radio is a bit of a problem, because obviously you only get 5 minutes sometimes, actually less than that on certain breakfast shows. So you just have to get to the point, no pun intended, and then get out of there. So today, let's take it back a little bit, Ty, because obviously I've known you for an awful long time. You know, before UK hip hop was fashionable, really, people like you were trying to put it down, trying to put the paving slabs down and trying to get it noticed, doing your thing, you know. You obviously, I can tell everybody, you know, he's very good on stage, great with the crowd, and I think that's kind of, it's transposed itself into a skill which I would probably say that you're probably at the top of in terms of UK artists. I don't expect you to comment on that, but
I won't.
That stagecraft came from all those years ago, having to prove yourself amongst a lot of people who didn't know who you were. Definitely.
I think that stagecraft came from a time where we were faced with a problem where UK audiences, European audiences, just didn't know how to be excited about a UK MC or a UK vocal. So when you stepped on stage, you were like 3 seconds away from a boo without saying nothing. So what I found is, and I used a particular night that you ran, Flavour of the Month, as a laboratory to just get up and try different things. So I used to get on stage and do all kinds of madness. Not Busta Rhymes madness, but more kind of like, I don't know if you remember, I used to do this thing where I was rapping, I put one foot up, then leaned against the wall, went all the way down to the back while still rapping, and came back up. And people was just like, what the hell was that? And really it was like a clinic, but it was like, we were just having fun. It's hip hop. We were trying different things. And over the years, I found that discipline for understanding, or that synergy with reading a crowd I think it's one of the most important things you can have as an artist.
Yeah. And
I definitely got that from doing the work in the back. And, you know, I try and share that ability with people. So when we was doing workshops, I really tried to put that across to artists that I work with, or to young people that I work with, in any format, that your performance aspect is really important.
But yeah, so getting back to the topic now. So obviously you're still making music now.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. I think, you know, you put your paving slab down, really, in terms of the rap game.
That little star at the Hollywood Square.
You know, that
hopefully
should be out in Leicester Square right about now.
Hopefully.
You obviously started off at just a rapper, and I think we kind of need to talk about your music abilities, because that's not something that's referenced too often. No.
And I think it's my fault.
Okay.
It's definitely my fault. I've not pushed. So big up to Drew, big up to Solaheen, big up to DJ Marga, big up to DJ Pogo. All of these people were people that I sat down, big up to Carmaster Swift. I sat down and worked on demos and watched them do things. Big up to Maceo from De La Soul. That was a turning point. And what really happened, it's a funny story. It's basically an MC that really wants to rap that no one has time for. So producers would be like, yeah, Wednesday, 4 weeks from now, yeah? Oh, did you call me? Sorry, 4 weeks again. So you want to get things done, and then nothing would happen. And then the funny thing is as well is, I think with hip hop culture is, if you really get into it, you're intrigued by everything. So you're intrigued by, Flowmaster and Ken Swift and the breakdancing element. You're intrigued by the graffiti element. You're intrigued by production and the beats and the breaks. But if you're a hip hop man and you're only rapping and you're not paying attention to the music that's being made, you're a fool. You're a straight fool. You're not paying. It's like doing karate and only learning the moves but never flipping working out where did it come from and who does what, and how do you chi? What's that? I just want to hit somebody. It doesn't work. You know what I mean? So with me, what happened is I started collecting records. So hip hop made me start paying attention to music. Then I started collecting records. Then I bought
sampler.
The first sampler I bought. Well, I had a computer and I was doing a little madness on that, but we won't talk about that. I bought a SP12 off of Ben Grimm.
Okay.
Who used big up to Ben Grimm, and I started playing around with that, finding my own way. Then I got an SP1200. Then I got MPC 3000, and in between that, I was working with different producers who worked with different things, and I just picked up things. I picked up that I was interested in the music, so I was picked up in the beats, collecting snares, collecting drum kits, collecting different things, and then what I started to do was just kind of work on my own vibe, because I found I had a vibe where it was different from what my producers were doing. And then when I did the Upwards album, because of my lack of confidence, I think I only put 1 or 2 things that I did on the first album. And then it was such a hard slog to get all of these same producers on the same level that after a while I was just like, you know what, sod this. We're doing it ourselves. Drew, let's roll. So we started doing stuff together. And I think at that time, people always assumed, and I think as well in this country, like, people don't want to give people credit. Like, Roots Maneuver, he would get automatic credit for Witness to Fitness production for his rapping. With me, people just don't want to acknowledge that outright. Haha, that's Ty. With Drew, that, oh, you want more? That's Ty. Like, you could come to my house, I could turn on the drum machine and pull up the songs and you can hear them and you can see where I have all the discs. So people just don't know. I haven't pushed it as well because this is real talk, right?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure that I want to be producing rappers in this age, because I feel like they're not respectful of the culture enough. And the culture is not just you rapping on a beat or you rapping on a BlackBerry, but actually the culture of writing a song and making a song. Like, we came from an age where we had to pay to go in the studio.
Absolutely.
Right? You had to pay to go in the studio. You had to kind of pay a producer to even, give you a beat. You had to do all of this stuff, and whereas people are just like, yeah, I just want a beat. Yeah, can I get some? And and I don't blame them. I think there's just a lack of understanding of how much it takes. And I give all hats off credit to all producers that are trying to sell music or do what they're doing, because it's a lot. But what the artists, the MCs don't realise is it takes a lot to sit down and put your baby down and, come back from work and, switch off EastEnders and make a beat and do what you're doing. It takes, we're fiends. Like, I sleep. The people that work with me right now, as far as my team, are living a horrendous life because I am a night owl. So I get an idea at 4 o'clock and I'm like, da-da-da, and I forget they're not awake, because I live in this beat world where you just turn close the curtains, living life. You're just doing what you're doing. And also sometimes you make beats that people are never gonna hear. I actually make beats and songs and ideas because I'm addicted to this process. Just like how people are addicted to, some people that collect records. Right, if you walk past a charity shop, you're just like, oh man.
I so know that feeling.
Oh man, like if you walk past walk past a record shop. Like for me, and it's funny, like I'm a fiend when it comes to that. And I noticed a lot of DJs, like especially when I was in Manchester, would be like, a lot of people was like, right, I didn't know you was, and I'm like, how do I explain this? I make the beats. I've got to listen to samples, innit? I've got to you got, and also when you listen, when you love music, you realize that some of the music you collect isn't just for sampling. Sometimes you just collect an album because you know you just gotta have it. Jaco Pastorius album, I gotta have that. Blah, 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 blah. Forget about samples, you just gotta have it. So to answer your question, it trickled into a love for the process of making music, making beats, listening to records. I listen to records when I'm stressed. I listen to records when I wake up. I listen to records to wash the dishes. I listen to records to avoid the bailiff. I listen to records all the time, and you know, it's just part. It's the best thing I can say is with hip hop, people kind of have got us schooled into this idea that you do it for a little while, then you grow up and become a real man or a real woman, and you know, you have babies and you get a real job and blah blah blah. No way. I'm in this. My kids are just gonna have to know, just gonna have to figure out not to touch the turntable. You know, it's just what it is. You know, like hip hop is gonna be a lot longer process. Also, when we was younger, Chuck D and Rakim looked like grown men to me. They didn't look like boys. So why should I think that I have to give it up at a certain age? You know, it's a different time.
Right. So let it be known, time makes music. I think maybe you need to maybe talk about it a little bit more when you do get a chance to, because obviously, you know, people who don't know Drew, he's an amazingly talented person.
Amazing.
And I can understand why people might not necessarily understand your input, especially if you don't talk about it.
Yeah, people assume. Yeah, people, and they rightly assume. And Drew's my boy, and we make music together, and we collaborate together. We just get on, like, musically. But, like You Never, that started in my house. Like, you know, the first person to hear Like You Never was not Drew, it was Big Ted. Because he was in my house, we were rehearsing, and I turned it on, I played it to him, and he was like, what? You need to get Tony Black Twang on this, blah, blah, blah. So we recorded it on tape, and then he played it to Tony, and we were gonna do a collaboration record, and I told him, he's not gonna love this. Yeah, I got selfish, bruv. Yeah, I kicked you off. We'll do a tune eventually. But yeah, definitely.
Okay, good. So that leads us on to your latest project now. You've got an album, well, sort of double EP, you've explained it, right?
Yeah, it's an EP that's a two-part.
Two-part. Okay, and you've got a show
so you want the real? The real thing is, it was just one EP, and then they split it into two because things just started going crazy. Like the buzz was so good, and they were like, because we had a video and we wanted to extend it into summer. We were like, look, if we do this, we can do that, we can blah blah blah. So that's, you know, so if you buy the vinyl, you get it all, minus one track. If you buy the download, you gotta get 3 tracks, and you'll get 3 more. And there's someone special doing a remix right now, which is gonna hit people.
Okay. Kick, Snare And An Idea is the title. It sounds self-explanatory, but I should ask you anyway. Cool.
A kick, snare, and an idea is my way of kind of...
The basics.
Yeah, is basically highlighting this thing that people do. We all know people that make music in the house, but there's a thing that we do where we shut the world out, we turn the computer on, we turn the drum machine on, and we get busy and we do this thing. Whether you do it to sell 1 million records or you do it because you want to make a beat, I thought it would be an interesting motif to celebrate and highlight those people. So it's not just a hip hop thing. It's just, you know, it's, unless you make ambient music, you kick, snare, you know, and an idea is absolutely going to be a part of your music making process. And I wanted to call that something rather than, you know, people get lost in, oh, hip hop is this, and then broken beat is this, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, everybody's actually doing the same thing. They're making different music, but they're doing the same thing. They're getting trapped in a world, you know, the wife is calling, sorry, babe, no. You know what I mean? Like, I'm on this thing. So I wanted to celebrate that. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the lead-off single. You know, I had the pleasure of hearing it a little bit before it kind of,
everyone else
hit everyone else. And I know I've got this word that when I say it's nice, like, I can understand that. What does that mean?
Oh, can I explain that?
Yeah, explain.
All right. So me and Steve have this real talk. We're brothers. It's all good. But obviously he represents the hip hop. I represent hip hop in my context of what it is. So I sometimes used to feel when Steve was talking about my music, he'd be like, yeah, that's nice. Meaning it's safe, it's happy, it's jolly, it's mellow, it's musical, nice. So I kind of got a point where I was like, well, you know, can't it just be good? Can't it just be, you know, yeah, that's a dope record, it's nice. And I, you know, so we would have this back and forth, and that's where that comes from. But I've since been proved wrong.
Right. Nice to me means nice, you know? Top marks kind of nice. But anyway, yeah, I kind of give it that tag because, like you say, your music has got a different kind of flavour to it. But I can't, you know, it's like when people say that's butter. What did it mean? It just meant it had that kind of smooth musical, do you know what I mean? That musicality that not every kind of hip hop record has, and that's something that to me is around a lot of the music that you make that comes out, you know, for the public to consume. So, Like You Never to me is almost like a continuation of to me I would have to say it's probably got better over the years. The way you managed to keep coming with this, because you know I'm a man, I love my hip hop, I don't really like all that singing. But certain times people can do it, you know, Farron Watch will make a song and I'm like, just the way this comes across, it's just nice, I just like it. How do you do it?
Blessed to know some really serious singers. I think in the world of music, obviously, there's certain levels. Like people class everybody as all on the same level of singing. I don't really class that. I've been fortunate enough to have, because I did a live band show, work with some amazing singers, like not sessions, well, session singers doesn't matter, amazing. And then, so in regards to what I'm looking for, as far as when we're doing music and doing stuff, I don't really, I just don't have anybody singing on a record because I'm looking for a certain thing. And we work song for song basis. So, whereas in someone would just get someone that can sing on a record because they can sing, I'm listening to the instruments on the record, I'm listening to I know the person's tone of voice, I know what the song needs, and hopefully we'll allocate the right singer to the right record. With this, with the Like You Never tune, I chose Charlene Hector to come on the record. And Charlene is the woman that did that Coke advert years ago. If you remember that, when she's walking down the street. Yeah. So, and she's in the band, and she's an amazing singer. And what she did is she added a little touch to the record. And what we didn't need to do is say, oh, it featured Charlene, blah, 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 because it's all about instruments. People are being instruments on the record.
Do people feel that they need to do extra things apart from just be actually good at the creative side of the process of making music? And I guess that's what makes people do these outrageous things. You know, we've kind of seen it with the historic disc records that will suddenly appear just before an album's coming out, like trying to get people's attention. You know,
marketing.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. And obviously people will use that, but how do you then, I mean, the difficulty will always be, because the industry is moving that way, and obviously as much as you might be
that's a good question.
A bit of a renegade, you still have to kind of not lose too much ground in terms of keeping up with what's going on. So that's going to be a difficult juggle. I mean, I know I have it from my own perspective as a DJ. It's like, I refuse to play what I call pop hip-hop records, because to me, I'm just not about that. And a lot of people just can't work that out.
Yeah, and you got to put your foot down.
And I'm like, no, because I just don't do that.
And it's
or they'll make a couple of records that I would class, you know, proper, and then they'll do something which is just way out of my league, and then complain that I won't play it. And I'm like, well, if I leave where I am, who's going to do what I'm doing? Because no one else wants to be here, because this isn't the most glamorous bit. But this is the grassroots bit, and this is where those great artists usually start from, exactly where I'm standing. And I remain there. My job will always be to remain there, to make sure that I can harness that and push it forward. And whatever they do after that is cool with me. But some people, it's like I have to have this long conversation to explain that to them before they'll kind of get it.
Okay. You know what I had to do? There's a couple things. I guess the question is really, how do you maintain some sort of understanding of what it is that's true for you, and then keep doing what you're doing? A couple things I had to do. One, I had to say goodbye to my dad. I don't talk to my dad. We don't communicate at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Sounds quite serious.
Yeah, I'm that serious about hip hop. I don't speak to my dad. I haven't spoken to him. We haven't sat down and eaten in each other's company for more than 3 minutes since 1992.
Wow. Really?
Really. And the reason for that is because when I was doing this music thing and certain things were starting to happen, and I realized early in life that this was the calling, I had this negative, beautiful person in my life who just didn't get it, and who was constantly, and I don't know, I can't speak for anyone else in this room, but your parents, if they disapprove of something, spiritually, it's gonna weigh with you. If your parents don't say to you, go on son, you can do that thing, it really is gonna weigh on you. Mm-hmm. And I had to make that decision, and I realized that my dad, with all of his demons, and I love him to bits, you know, we do see each other now and then at a bus stop and say hello and then keep it moving. But in order for me to take this journey and do what I need to do and do it properly, I had to negate the one element that was more powerful than anyone else to dissuade me from actually doing this thing. And I had to stop talking to him. I had to cut off anything. So we don't speak. The second thing is...
Hold on, we need to go into that a little deeper now.
Cool.
Obviously, we've all kind of been there, you know. You've got the pressure of your parents wanting you to get a proper job in inverted commas, and you wanted to do something which is artistic. Mm-hmm. I've been there just like you. Mm-hmm. I mean, my parents weren't as stringent.
I didn't add Nigerian dad. Yeah, let's get that straight. That's a different caliber of specimen, of character, of ability, of discipline in the world. Just so we're clear.
Okay, so and so you've got this kind of pressure, like you say, of them wanting you to take a certain path, and you saying no, actually I want to do this, and them never understanding it. Mm. But it never ever got to a point where I wouldn't speak to my dad. If anything, I'd just ignore him and just do what I was doing. 1992 is a long time ago, and I'm just thinking, even my own parents, who were a bit like, okay, my son's very intelligent, he's got all these qualifications and he wants to scratch. What's wrong with him?
Yeah, what's that about?
But at least now they can go, okay, he's done okay for himself.
Yeah.
And so that kind of pressure subsides over time.
Yeah.
Why has that not happened in your case?
I think we have to bear in mind that people have different relationships, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, my relationship with my dad is all encompassing, to the point that he's a Nigerian dad, so there's a discipline that we're culturally brought up different from most people. So there's this real kind of thing where, mum, dad, thunderous, what should I do now? You know, they're on it, and I'm saying you get that in normal scenarios, but with Nigerian parents, it's speak and don't be heard, or, you know, listen and don't speak. There's elements of when I lay the law down, it's thunderous, four hammer, all of that. And with my dad, it was just really, there were certain things that were happening. So, you know, these were points where I was coming to rap shows, doing certain things, like when I used to come to Flavor of the Month, right? Sometimes, Steve, when I went home, I was locked out. And I would have to literally wait until 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning before he would unlock the door that I could come in the house, and then I'd have college that I got to leave for at 9:45. Stuff like that. So what I was seeing was, and this is not about trying to punish my father or anything, but it was about, I was realizing that I had I had a parent who fully didn't accept or acknowledge that their child had something special, whether he liked it or not. And so the difference is, after a while, that can weigh on you. Imagine you're already doing a thing where, you know, and I'm sure you can relate to this, Steve. At the time when we were involved in hip hop, it had no time span. So there was no me telling a younger person that they could be a hip hop artist for 15 years. We had Cookie Crew, we had blah blah blah, and then they, you know, they went off to do their own thing. So there was none of that. So for me to be that bold about what I was doing, and then to have this element of doubt around, I had to cut it out. I had to cut it out, and I'll tell you something now, I haven't looked back. I love my dad. I don't get me wrong, I love my dad, but he knows that he wasn't supportive, and he knows that he was very ignorant in regards to what his child may have been good at, and it was to the detriment of his child's existence. And it's like, I had to make a decision. Like I said, it wasn't a vicious, venomous, you know, it wasn't a Zorro ending. It was nothing like that. It was just like, it was a calculated step in regards to, I want to conquer the world, so I gotta empty the piggy bank. I gotta crack the piggy bank. I can't get on a plane without cracking the piggy bank. And I had to do that. Another thing I had to do is, in the mid-90s, or early 2000s, is I threw out my radio. I threw it out because I started to feel a certain way about what I was hearing and how I was hearing it. And, you know, we've had this conversation. So I actually don't have a radio in my house. And it's been a blessing because I don't have a radio in my house. What we forget is when you hear a radio 24/7, it influences you. So Drake is gonna sound hot to me eventually if I got, you know, Drake is hot, he's bad, I get it. But I'm not gonna start rapping like Drake because I don't have him in my house. But when you have it on the radio all the time, you know, it's just like
indoctrination.
It's like an indoctrinate, but it's like a Timmy Mallet fist. Just, I don't want to be a fisherman. Yes, I will. I don't want to, you eventually have to do this thing. So I cut all of that out. And that's why I think the Upwards album has been my most successful album on Ninja Tunes ever, because that was absolutely boy in the box. That was me and Drew locked in the studio, making music, looking out the window. Oh, that's what the world's doing? Let's get back to this. And we did what we did. We used the synths. A lot of the synths that I have, I bought from me touring. So I have like over 32 different synths. And we use that. I mean, we use plugins and then we replace it with a real synth because there's nothing like it. And we just have fun. And this journey has ended up via me being able to figure things out for myself without this overriding influence. So nobody told me to pick up a synth. Nobody told me to buy an MPC 3000 and do certain things a certain way. I had to figure it out. But the reason why I could figure that out is because I had a good grounding in hip hop.
Which is why you sound different.
Basically.
After all these
Even
years.
The voice is very important. Like I used to rap in an American accent, and then I switched over. It didn't make any sense, and then I started to realize that there's I've noticed this with a lot of rappers in the UK. They don't realize that your voice can develop. You can train your voice to project and also to sound different. You can use your voice more. So what a lot of UK rappers do is they settle for the voice that they have. Like, yeah, that's me in it. So what you're hearing is a lot of rappers in the UK that to me sound like Chester P. Now Chester P is absolutely his own man. Like, to me, Chester P, as far as his voice, is probably more copied than Skinny Man in regards to the UK hip hop aesthetic, than Rodney P. But what you're seeing is Chester P is his own man. And if you see an interview with Chester P, he's a genius. Straight up, he's a genius. He's his own man. But then you've got all of the minions that are rapping with a slight kind of tinge of him. And I'm like, no, you're not getting it. Where do you come from? I come from Brixton. I'm a Nigerian child, grew up in a West Indian community in an English country. Watching the Two Runnies, watching It Ain't Half Hot Mum, watching Tarzan, the cartoon. all of these things. So why would I then not bring that to the table? Because hip hop, you're not supposed to just be running over to sample George Clinton in the UK. You're supposed to be finding your elements that are around you, the spices that are around you in the jungle that you live in, and you make a wicked barbecue. That's what you're supposed to be doing.
There you go. Well, this is why these kind of interviews are good, because hopefully someone might watch this and go, what's he talking about? And then maybe just do a little research, which is great. We haven't really spoken in depth about these 2 EPs and what's on there, so can we just do that? Cause
cool, because we got real talking. Okay, so on the 2 EPs at the moment, first EP has 3 songs, Playing With Fire, featuring Akala and Dirty Goods, which is just wicked for me. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Another song is Like You Never, which is the song that people are most likely to have heard. And then the third song is a song, Knock Knock, which is in brackets, Kick, Snare And An Idea, which is actually the title of the EP. And all 3 songs are different. Like You Never is, you know, pretty layered, quite slow, quite hip hop. It's a neck bopping song with a message, with a lovely bass line. You know, there's a certain vibe to it. Knock Knock is very, very sparse. Sparse but still musical, but a different type of beat, different type of approach to ending the beat. Could have made it more layered, could have put more snares on it. I didn't want that to happen. And then Playing With Fire is kind of like is a visual record for me. So what I wanted with that record is for the music is almost fairy tale-ish.
Right.
So it's kind of like, you know, dun, dun. It's almost children story-ish. And then the Playing With Fire, I'm singing it. And me singing it gives it a different vibe, because obviously Playing With Fire is quite an aggressive terminology. It's like, you're playing with fire. It's like, you're obviously saying someone's about to get hurt in here. But the fact that I'm singing it gives it a different context. And then the fact that Akala and Dirty Goods are on the record is just, to me, I'm very, very, very happy about that. Like they are both MCs that make me shiver. And this is a thing that I think people need to know as we're doing Real Talk. Not a lot of artists make me shiver. And when I say shiver, what happens is, it's not obviously shiver like, oh no, I'm scared.
You're talking about a level of skill and ability.
Yeah, like when I first heard Kalashnikov, I remember where I was. It was at Scala, a couple of years back. And he was rapping and he was doing his thing, and I was just like, what the hell am I seeing right now? Because his power that he has, when he was performing, I was just like, oh my God, I think I'm seeing Tupac in the UK, but with skills. No offense to Tupac, but you know. And there's an energy, and I felt like when I heard Dirty Goods, who I heard about through DJ Fusion years ago, because I knew they were working together, and then I saw him at a Maida Vale session, and when he rapped, I was like, what the hell? And when I say what the hell, not like how dare he, it was more like a what the, you know when you hear something and it makes you feel like,
yeah,
well, I guess that's the end for me, right? I guess I better stop rapping now. You know what I mean? Like that's the good thing. And Akala, ridiculous. You know, Akala is, to me, is one of the most well-versed human beings that I've become aware of in life, all round. He's just, if we had someone that was thinking with Akala's acute sharpness of mind in the hip-hop game earlier, I think the hip-hop game would be different.
So, you mentioned vinyl, just to finish off.
Yes.
You mentioned if you get the vinyl, you get an extra track. Did you say that?
Yes, I did.
So that means you're getting vinyl. I mean, this is something that, you know, big out to Cutmaster Swift. He told me that he did an interview with Chamberlain from Arsenal, and he was teaching him how to DJ, and he was like, wow, my dad's got these, and he's holding a piece of vinyl, you know. And it just seems strange to kind of understand that there are people who just don't get that whole thing. And
you know, it's understandable because technology and time is moving so fast Like, you remember when there was that player?
Of course, I still got mine.
You remember mini discs?
I still got that too.
Mini discs didn't last 5 seconds, like, but they were great. So, you know, it's understandable. We have vinyl for this record. I was really fortunate enough that DJ Record Breaking from New York, who's a fan and a family friend, was like, if you're doing this record, because True Thoughts didn't want to do vinyl at the time, you know, because it was a new relationship, and which is, you know, completely understandable. And he was like, I'll do the vinyl, just let's work something out. So the vinyl is the main 4 songs from the EP, because he wanted to make it a special 10-inch, and yeah, that is a special import. So basically, if you buy the vinyl, you get the 2 tracks that you won't be able to get till June. Wow. Now on the record. The only thing that's not on the vinyl is the Playing with Fire song, because we had to take a song off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to do vinyl. In the past, I've had moments with vinyl where because I'm with certain labels, they don't want to do vinyl, or they don't want to put an acapella on the record because, you know, it may mess up the opportunity for the song to be playlisted and all that sort of stuff. This time round, I was just like, sod all that. I want a vinyl. I want, you know, releases. True Thoughts have been absolutely beautiful to work with. They've just gone with what we're doing. Recordbreaking.com has been brilliant, and the vinyl's there, and it's already selling out.
There you go. So, those things become special at the end of the day.
Yeah, and
they become special.
Yeah, and you know, big shout to Ben Wichenji for the artwork, brother Ben.
Man's a genius.
Absolute bad guy. I don't bad negative. It's a negative. Brilliant guy. Ben Wichenji did the album for artwork for A Special Kind of Fool, which is to this day.
Which I got vinyl for.
You got vinyl for that. To this day is one of my best album cover ever.
Special.
Upwards second. And the vinyl is really, I had to make vinyl because I'm trying to stay with certain points in hip hop where it's like, you know what? Not because it's old or new, like my guy was suggesting, but because there is still a special place in people's heart for certain things.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm fortunate enough to have, I don't find my records in record bins and charity shops. People, you know, people hold on to a record that I make. So, you know, I'm not, one thing I used to love about Tribe Called Quest is that when they brought a record out, you bought the record. You didn't debate it. You didn't sit down and think, maybe the 12-inch, who's featured on the record? You grabbed that record. And that, to me, is the premise of some of the stuff that I'm trying to bring to the table. So I'm not trying to say I'm the best, or the freshest, or the darkest, or the youngest, or the oldest. I'm just, when I bring something to the table, it's tight. And when I step on stage to perform, you know what time it is. I'm not playing around. I'm gonna lose my life on stage for you lot. If you lot go crazy, I go crazier, you go crazier, I go crazier, someone's gonna pass out. That's how we do it. That's how we've been schooled.
That's how you're supposed to do it. Yeah, man. Ty, listen, man, I just have to shake your hand. Very proud of what you've become, man. And I say that with complete sincereness because, like you, starting back in 1992, just watching people thinking, wow, he's just brilliant. Wow, he's just brilliant. And you're one of those people I was like, wow, this guy's just brilliant. And do you know what I mean? For you to done what you've done, it's reassuring to me because it makes me know that, you know what, I knew this guy had the magic in him. I always knew it. But
also, you know that if you didn't do what you did to create certain things and to create the position to have the radio show, we wouldn't be existing. We wouldn't be existing. Not we would have been all right. We would not be existing. I'm not trying to diss any other DJ who was at the top of the tree, but we all know some people supported, some people didn't. So, you know, without you doing the sacrifice that you made with your show for hip hop in this country, I can say at least 50% of us to maybe 90 wouldn't be here. So thank you for sticking your guns out.
Yeah, man, staying true. That's it. End of part 2. Who's going to be on part 3? You just have to make sure you stay here. Keep checking out the website, ukhh.com. Thank you very much for listening. And I hope you got something out of that.
UKHH, baby. Baby.